What's going on, everyone? Happy Thursday. Hopefully everyone is doing well and having a great day so far. It is time now for the Thursday weather update for Thursday, October 31st, 2024. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. This is where I do the weather update. We talk about the weather forecast for the United States and weather headlines and news around the world. So if you're new to my channel, subscribe down below, give this a thumbs up, hit that notification bell, share this video with anyone you know, and leave your comments down below. Starting off today in Spain. Remember we had a big flooding event over in Spain? Well, the death toll of this flooding that occurred in the area of Valencia is now up to 140, and they are still searching for missing people and survivors. So this death toll could go up even higher. This is just devastating. I mean, look at this picture here. The flooding that has occurred in Spain. It is just not good whatsoever. Over in Taiwan, Typhoon Kangri is the issue there, and the winds with this storm that is headed towards Taiwan is at 133 miles per hour, and it is expected to make landfall within just the next few hours. This was as of this morning, so it's probably getting set to make landfall right now. So this is, yeah, take a look at this. This is a really powerful and impressive storm. Look at the size of the eye wall with this storm. It is expansive. That is just a huge eye wall. All right, here in the United States, taking a look at the satellite picture, we can see we do have a front that is moving through the central region of the United States. It's going to make its way into the east as we get into tomorrow. But, unfortunately, the majority of the moisture with this front is going to pretty much dry up and fizzle out. So places that really need rainfall are not going to get that much in the way of rainfall. But places where it's hitting right now, and it's not even really all that impressive, it's just a squall line with some rain behind it. You do need rain in this area, so you'll take any rain you can get. Up in portions of the Great Lakes, take a look at this. Yes, there is an area of low pressure, and yes, there could be some snow that mixes in on the backside of this system, and windy conditions expected as well, where there is mountain snows in the Pacific Northwest today. Yes, that is occurring, and there are also some showers, and maybe even some heavier bouts of rain that will move towards Seattle and Portland throughout the day. Taking a look at the National Hazards Map, you can see here there are winter weather advisories up for portions of Wisconsin and Minnesota. So yes, you could see some wintry weather this evening. California, Northern California, you could see wintry weather as well, and across the mountains of Oregon and into Washington, Idaho, and even portions of Montana. The rest of the country, not a lot of hazards, but there are some wind threats today for portions of the Great Lakes. And if you're in the east, or in the northeast, I should say, be mindful. It's going to be record warm, and it's been dry. There could be those wildfire threats once again, so we'll have to keep our eyes on that. All right, taking a look at the tropics, we still have a 7-day 40%, or actually, correction, it's now up to 50% area that's in portions of the tropics. We're watching this to see if something will develop, and we're starting to see the Europeans say that there could be development with this system now, so that is getting rather interesting. Here's the 0Z European from last night. You can see this area of disturbed weather in the Caribbean does get going, and it does try to organize a little bit. You can see an area of low pressure does form as we head into next week. So we'll have to see. Maybe a tropical depression or even a tropical storm would get going. And look where the European takes us. It takes it as a weak tropical storm into the Gulf of Mexico. As you can see here, there's a blocking high in the Atlantic, so it really wouldn't have anywhere else to go. So it's something we're going to have to keep our eyes on. And check this out. Ben Noll tweeted this over on X, well, posted this on X, and he says around 60% of the ECMWF ensemble members show a tropical disturbance near the Gulf of Mexico later next week. Take a look at this. Some of them, or a couple of them, do get the storm system going a little stronger. There's a few members that take it down to the 970s. That would be a hurricane. There's also many that just say, hey, there will be a tropical depression. So that is something we're going to have to keep an eye on, continuing to watch. All right, we have a record report from yesterday, and this is in Philadelphia, in my city. Record event report. Record longest streak of consecutive days with no measurable precipitation has been set at Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Yeah, this is really It's been dry here. My weather station is at 0.00. It can't show trace, but if we had anything, it was a trace. There was one morning there was like 2 drops in Philadelphia International Airport. I think might have. I don't even think we had a trace. The last day of measurable precipitation at Philadelphia, PA, occurred on September 28th. Only a trace of rainfall, so I was right. There was a trace. A trace of rainfall has occurred since then, which occurred on September 29th and again on October 24th. No measurable precipitation has been recorded so far this month. So a trace doesn't count as measurable precipitation. You have to get to 1/100ths of an inch. And it's been 30 consecutive days have passed without measurable precipitation, which sets a new all-time station record. Wow. And mind you, that station's been at Philadelphia International Airport on the other side of the river. They say the airport, but it's really National Park, New Jersey. It's been there quite a long time. At one time, and I don't know the precise year, it was in Center City, Philadelphia. When they switched it, I don't know, but since records have been kept, the old station record of 29 consecutive days occurred 150 years ago between October 11th and November 8th in 1874. During this 29-day period, no precipitation was recorded, not even a trace, and at the end of today, we may break the record, because it's still dry. We may break the record for driest October ever as well. Of course, I'll report that to you tomorrow. And this leads us up to the Thursday drought update. Obviously, with no rainfall around here, you can see it on the map, the drought conditions have worsened, and they really haven't improved in other areas, and would you believe it or not, take a look at North Carolina. Yes, there are portions of North Carolina, Georgia, and South Carolina that are now in abnormally dry. Yeah, drought is starting to show up there as well. I mean, the United States as a whole, we really need some widespread rainfall events to occur. They are occurring in the Pacific Northwest, but we need them in more places, and this is really problematic. And what does not help is the fact that in the east, we're seeing these above normal temperatures, and when the temperatures are warmer, well, ground precipitation can evaporate faster, and the only thing I can say is this morning, we actually had some dew outside, and there was enough moisture in the air to create some dew. That's more moisture than the ground has seen in the last month. So, yeah, but take a look at this. It is just really dry across central region, and for you, you are going to actually see some relief, and I'm going to show that to you next. But in the east, we're not going to be seeing much relief. Southern California, portions of southwest Arizona, and portions of Las Vegas, not much in really way of relief for you either. Take a look at this. Here's the next 1 through 7 days. You can see maybe more just sprinkles in the east, 1/100ths of an inch, maybe a tenth, isolated areas, but it's this area in between, in the plains, from Texas, even up into the Midwest, into the Great Lakes, where we're going to see multiple rounds of severe storms this weekend. And the SPC, you're going to see in a moment, has highlighted several days for slight risk of severe weather. But with this, there's also going to be flash flooding threats, because if you get heavy amounts of rainfall in short periods of time on dry ground, that water's just going to run right off. So that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on. Places like Oklahoma City, St. Louis, maybe even Chicago could see some heavier rainfall. And we still do see, at least for a few more days, the threats of heavier rainfall. A lot of this coming from today and tonight in the Pacific Northwest. All right, taking a look at the Storm Prediction Center. Yesterday, there were 140 severe storm reports. Thankfully, none so far that were tornado reports. I don't see if there's going to be any storm surveys out there to check for tornadoes. I'll let you know if there are any confirmed later on. Wind reports, 128, 3 being high winds, and 12 hail reports, none of them being large hail reports at this time. All right, now let's take a look at the future forecast. Yeah, look at this. Marginal risk areas lined up. There's marginal risk today from portions of Texas right on up into the Ohio Valley. On day 2, we do have marginal risk in Texas and portions of New Mexico, and it does also include portions of Oklahoma, 2%, less than 2% for tornado, 5% wind, and 5% hail. Day 3, we do see that portions of Texas and eastern New Mexico does have a slight risk of severe weather. And then on day 4, which at this point we're starting to get into, I believe this is Sunday, and then even on Monday, yet again, severe weather threats across portions of the plains, and by the time you get to Monday, going into Tuesday, it does shift east a little bit, so things are going to get very busy over the next few days in terms of severe weather. And now let's take a look at what's going on with the HER. We'll take a look at the 12Z HER, and you can see here on this that there will be a line of storms ahead of this front that continues, but as it makes its way eastward, with exceptions to Texas and Louisiana, for the most part it's going to lose the majority of its moisture. And look at that, even in Louisiana tonight, it pretty much dries up, and you're going to see nothing more than just sprinkles in the mid-Atlantic, maybe a couple heavier showers up in New England, but I'm not really expecting much. Now take a look at what's going on in the Pacific Northwest, and let's switch this to the Northwest view, and we can see here rounds of heavy rain for Oregon and portions of Washington, Seattle, and Portland, Oregon. You're going to see very heavy rainfalls and mountain snows, and showers will continue right into tomorrow and maybe even Saturday morning. And take a look at this. The HER model is showing widespread 1-inch amounts of rainfall, with many areas seeing 2 to 4 inches of rainfall, especially in higher elevations where you do get the upsloping and lifting from, the rising of the elevation. It makes the energy go up, it makes the moisture rise, and then you do get some heavier precipitation amounts as a result of that. Alright, let's take a look at the NAM model, and we can see here, for the most part today, I should mention this. On the East Coast, you're dry for Halloween. It's going to be record warm for today. You just have this front that's coming through that's just going to really not even do all that much in the Ohio Valley down into Mississippi and Alabama. You really will not have terribly a lot of concern for Halloween. Maybe Mississippi. You can see there are some heavier thunderstorms there. If you're out in Los Angeles, California, dry. If you're in Dallas, Texas, dry. Chicago, it's going to be a windy Halloween for you, and you will be on the backside of the front, which means your temperatures will be dropping, so make sure you're warm in your costumes this evening. But on the East Coast, for the most part, things should be fine. We'll just have to see if any wildfires do get going up in the Northeast, because these winds with the dry ground and the warm temperature, that could be enough to spark a wildfire. If you have a cigarette butt or something, please be extremely careful. No fire pits tonight, or maybe you're going to light your jack-o'-lanterns, your pumpkins. Just be careful if doing so. Alrighty, taking a look now beyond today, beyond tomorrow, we can see here moisture starts to evac and build up once again across portions of Texas ahead of that next system. And you can see on Saturday there are shower and thunderstorm threats right into the plains, and again on Sunday. So we're going to have quite the active stretch, and I think by the time we get to Sunday into Monday, there will be potentially maybe an isolated tornado or two in the mix, with wind and hail being the bigger threats, and of course flash flooding as well. Let's take a look at the GFS. This is the 12Z run just coming in as we're doing this video, and we can see here 12Z Sunday, very heavy showers and thunderstorm activity from Oklahoma City into Kansas, of course Kansas City as well, and then again on Sunday night into Monday, and then there'll be another round that could even include Chicago and St. Louis for severe thunderstorms Monday night into Tuesday. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Yeah, look at that. And look at the strong southwest flow ahead of this. Places in the Northeast, once again, that are very dry. Wildfire threats will exist next week. Behind that front, things will start to cool off. And you can see here on this run of the GFS, it's trying to show a tropical disturbance off the coast of Florida. Not really sure I'm buying into that whatsoever. If you notice here, GFS has been moving this around every single run. Each run, it's spitting something different out. Alright, let's take a look at the Climate Prediction Center. Well above average temperatures in the east. I mean, it's going to cool off a little bit this weekend, but then again, it's just going to warm right back up again next week. And the west coast will remain below average. Precipitation, yeah, they've added the below average once again across portions of Philadelphia, New York City, even Boston as well. Above average in places like Orlando, Florida, Dallas, Texas, and everywhere else in between. New Mexico, it's going to be fairly wet for you. There's a couple opportunities for precipitation over a 6 to 10 day period. 8 to 14 days below average temperatures across Southern California and the Four Corners region, where we do see above average once you get to about Denver, Colorado on eastward, and well above average for the plains and the Pacific Northwest, slightly above average, and the Midwest, well above average, and well above average in the East as well. Take a look at precipitation over Texas on the 8 to 14 day outlook. Yes, above average for you. That's good for the drought conditions. Not good. Look at this. Below average from the Northeast on back to the Midwest and the Northern Plains. Yeah, the drought's going to continue. I'm not seeing any major rainfall event in the Northeast that would provide an inch plus of rain for places that really need it any time soon. I mean, I'll let you know if it pops up. We could see some smaller systems that pop up, but nothing major. Slightly above average in Florida, below average for Central California, but slightly above average for Southern California. And take a look at the Pacific Northwest. Above average precipitation in the 8 to 14 day outlook. Alrighty, folks, that does it for today's weather update. We'll probably have either another update tomorrow or again on Saturday. If you enjoyed this update, give it a thumbs up. If you're new, subscribe down below, hit that notification bell, share this video with anyone you know, and leave any comments or questions down below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all again next time. Have a fantastic Halloween.